Today's second speaker is a member of the USDA Southwest Climate Hub team. Mr. Skye Aney will demonstrate the Collaborative Conservation and Adaptation Strategies Toolbox, which provides case studies on how communities and individuals have successfully responded to past drought. And given what we just saw, could be pretty important, and also other natural resource concerns. In the case studies presented today were developed by members of the case studies team of the Drought Learning Network. If you're interested in knowing more about the network or joining our annual meeting, we'll share a contact for that at the end of the webinar. Skye?
Hi, thank you for that introduction. So yes, the Collaborative Conservation and Adaptation Strategy Toolbox, because that is a mouthful, we generally just call it Ccast. And Ccast was developed as a collaborative project with several partners. It's directed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife and Bureau of Reclamation. The USDA Climate Hub also partners, and so does the University of Arizona. It was developed because there was an acknowledgement that there are complex challenges in the natural resources world, and they require collaboration and coordination across landscapes and across jurisdictions. And often there are really good projects being implemented in one area that could have transferable elements to another region, but nobody ever hears about it because maybe there wasn't communication between the two agencies involved or the multi-communities involved. So Ccast provides a platform for synthesis and decision support tools. It also supports community of practice groups around different concerns. One of those is drought. It provides a central location to share and learn from these case studies. And it serves as an outlet for conservation professionals to highlight their work. If they've got a project they were particularly proud of, there were some things that worked really well, they can showcase it here at this platform. It also supports mentors and students and helps emerging professionals get some networking and get some hands-on experience in publishing these case studies. They will intern for a while and then work on researching and writing some of these case studies. The Drought Learning Network partners with Ccast. The Drought Learning Network, as Emily mentioned, is a multi-organizational collaboration to disseminate drought information, best practices, and practitioner experiences. There are 6 focus groups, and one of them is dedicated specifically to collecting case studies and then publishing them on this Ccast platform. So examples of what does a case study look like. Case studies are produced in 2 forms. They're produced in a web app and also in a 2-page PDF publication that can be shared with people that highlights the main points. This was one that we did on heritage genetics to increase cattle resilience during drought. Drought conditions, as many of you probably know all too well, can present a lot of challenges for ranchers. There's less forage availability, there's more potential for land degradation. There is the possibility of having to emergency destock and then restock at a loss to the rancher. And it's often desirable to have breeds or combinations of breeds that have good drought resistant characteristics, maybe good heat tolerance, maybe eat less because they're a smaller frame, but then you also have to think about the marketability, right? Can you actually sell those calves at a profit? And so this was a rancher in California who had come up with some creative solutions to these problems by using Criollo cattle and crossing them with Black Angus bulls to produce calves that they could then sell on the market. So where can you find these case studies? These case studies are published on the Ccast website, which is in transition to a new permanent resting place. So at the moment, it's actually kind of a long URL, and your best bet is to just do a Google search of Ccast Collaborative Conservation and Adaptation Strategy Toolbox. But we'll go to the website now and just click around it a little bit. When you first land on the website, you get the introduction page, and you get a little introduction to what Ccast is, the communities of practice. And then if you go to this little list icon here, you go to the case studies, and you can view these case studies in a couple of different ways. There's a graphic interface case study dashboard, or you can just explore using tags. If you explore using tags, it'll take you to a list of all the case studies, which there are over 100 in the database right now. And you can go down here and you can filter by topic. So If we're interested in drought, we go ahead and click drought, and we can see at the top there are 21 case studies associated with drought. Now, if we want to get a little bit more specific and say, well, you know, drought in forests is nice, but I'm really interested in grazing, we can also add grazing to the filter tags. And your filter tags are up here. You can clear them at any time. And we can see that there are 4 that are introducing strategies that people have used to solve problems related to both drought and grazing. One of those is, as I was telling you, that heritage genetics case study. And then you click on it, and each case study has a story map form, and it's got different tabs here. It's got the key issues and goals. So these were the key issues that were addressed. Here's some photos of the cattle. It's got project highlights that kind of pull out what were the really interesting or novel parts of this project. And then it's got lessons learned, where sometimes these are things that worked really well, and sometimes these are things that the contributor found that didn't work so well, and they wouldn't recommend doing this if you're trying to do this somewhere else. And so they're sharing what they learned from the project. And then there's also a resources tab where they show the collaborators if there were websites associated. So 3 of these collaborators, 2 of them had websites and 1 of them does not. So if there's a website, there's a link there. There was also, in this case, the ranch owner and manager had done a YouTube interview talking about his ranch and about his strategy. And so that's here from this resources tab as well. And then there's other publications. So if there's other publications that you can look at to get more information. So in a nutshell, that is what Ccast is, and I would encourage you to go there and just browse around and see what's there related to the issues that you're interested in. And there are others. Some of them were done on community groups that were organized around things. So there's a wide range of what you could find. And then I just wanted to briefly mention the upcoming events that we have going on. These are not all drought related, or sorry, these are not all Drought Network events, but some of these are the USDA Climate Hub events. And if you want more information about the Drought Learning Network, go ahead and contact Katie Steele. If you want more information about Ccast, there are links on the website and email addresses that you can email. And that's all I have.
Great, thanks for that, Skye. I haven't had any questions come in for you yet, but I'll just throw one out there. If somebody wants to participate in an upcoming case study, what should they do?
They should go ahead and email, and sorry, I didn't put my email address up here, but if I can put my email address in the chat box here, but they should go ahead and email me, and we will go ahead and put that information. We'll go ahead and refer you to the right person. So maybe if it's drought related, it'll be me or somebody on the Drought Learning Network that you're working with. If it's related to another issue, it might be somebody else within the Ccast network. But if you go ahead and just let me know you're interested, we'd be happy to work with you on working up a case study.
Great. And just to be clear, that the Ccast website, that's a public website anybody can go to? That's
absolutely.
Yep. Okay.
And there are contacts also on that website for each of the community of practice people. There are emails there that you can email people as well.
Great. Rich just asked, who's the content manager for Ccast?
The content manager is actually, so it's directed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the Bureau of Reclamation. And so there are 2 key people that sort of have the ultimate say on what goes on the website and what doesn't. But there is a collaborative group, some of them people from the University of Arizona. I am one of the collaborative group as well. And so there's a group that does some internal reviews on these, and then these go out, each of these case studies, after it's been reviewed and vetted by us, it goes out to a mailing list that has roughly 150 people on it, professionals from all different walks of life. And they also get 2 weeks to review these case studies, bring up any concerns that they might have about them, or any questions or things that they say, you know, there's something that needs to be clarified more here. Those revisions are also incorporated, and then the information is passed along to the web manager, and the web manager actually goes ahead and posts the content. So these are all peer-reviewed publications by the time that they get to the website.
Okay, great. Thanks for that, Skye. I'm going to pass back to Emily to wrap us up.
Great, thanks so much. I just want to call everyone's attention to our next Southwest Drought briefing. That's a month from now, 11 to 11:30. We try to keep these short. So we'll be doing another briefing, and we'll also be talking about the new drought.gov website on that webinar. And I wanted to thank you all for joining us today, and I especially want to thank Dave Simmerall and Skye Aney and Joel for managing the questions so well. And all of the links will be provided on drought.gov. Thanks for joining.